from hillbilly crime. You can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair. Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell. All the secrets belong down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound. Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines. Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets belong down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you? I hope you're having a great weekend. Okay, I had to get my youngin' real quick. All right, welcome in. Oh, welcome in. My name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. There has been a look there. There's Mommy. There's Zelmy. Hi, Mommy. Fix your camera. All right. Thank you. So there has been an update on the double homicide out of Ohio with the dentist and his wife. You remember that case, Mom?
I do.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Before we get into tonight's chaos, let me get our stuff kicking over here. For some reason, sometimes it all goes away and I have to put it back up there. Okay. So before we get into tonight's chaos, let me do a little bit of house business, because if you're new here, welcome to our show. Please don't be shy. Jump in our live chat. Tell us where you're from. And if you've been here forever, then you already know what the deal is. This is your hillbilly house. So make yourselves at home, please. Now, no fancy gatekeeping here on this channel, y'all. No fake perfect vibes. Just a bunch of black sheep
who found each other and said, yeah, you too? So this channel isn't just viewers. It's a family. We've got cousins, we've got aunts and uncles, and we've even got some in-laws. We've got that one relative who shows up every night, no matter what. You know who you are. And y'all are here every single night of our lives. And so we thank you through the good, through the bad, through the wow, this algorithm really hates us today era. Now, if you've been thinking about joining memberships or gifting one, this is your sign. Memberships are how you help keep this show alive. They keep the lights on. They keep me showing up every night, even when views are trash, supers are quiet, and the vibes are, let's say, challenging. If you can't, totally fine. Being here still matters. But if you can, just know it genuinely supports the show. And gifting memberships, well, that's how you grab a stranger by the hand and go, congrats, you're family now. Welcome in. Now, I'm going to say this once and I'm going to keep it moving. The last couple months have been a little bit rough. Views have dropped, support has dipped. And yeah, it's been one of those seasons where you show up anyway. And I'm still here. I ain't giving up. We ain't quitting. Every night, because this space matters. And if you're wondering about the noise, the critics, the side eye, and the whispers, well, just know this. Our haters are our motivators. Always have been, always will be. So, whether you are watching, chatting, lurking, joining, gifting, or just hanging out quietly, welcome home. All right, now let's get into this mess. What'd you do today, Mommy?
Oh, well, I cleaned my house good and I sorted stuff and I washed dishes and cleaned out my fridge.
You did all the messy stuff.
Yeah, I cleaned my floors. I piddled up my porch. It's a big job to to take care of yourself, I'll tell you.
It is. And
Takes so much
animals.
time. Well, yeah, I have to take care of them too, but taking care of them's taking care of myself, because that's what I choose to bring into my home. And I like them.
Yeah.
It's part of my life to have these little animals.
It is. It is mine too. Um. All right. So they had. Most of us kind of know what happened, but let me get our picture up here. We've got a photo of the victims. So and here was the one that I used for the thumbnail. So, because today Ohio said, surprise, we're not done yet. If you thought that this case was going to quietly fade into the background like so many others, no, that did not happen. Because as of today, arrests have been made in the murder of a dentist and his beautiful, beautiful wife. And spoiler alert, it's the ex husband. Shocker. And because the universe has a sense of humor, his current wife, too. I wish that I was kidding, but I am not. So that is where we are this evening. Let me grab this information. on what has happened. Uh-oh. But I tell you, every time I start my show, my animals are like, hey, she's on.
We'll get some attention now, they say. They know you have to do what you want them to do to get them out of your hair.
All right. So the crime, what happened December 30th? Spencer Tepe, this dentist, 37, a Columbus, Ohio dentist, and his wife Monique, 39, were found shot to death inside their home in Wineland Park neighborhood. Police were called for a welfare check after Spencer didn't show up for work. Unusual behavior, according to their coworkers. Initial responders left after no answer, and a lot of us kind of already familiar with what happened. The police showed up, they knocked on the door, they didn't get any answer, and they left. Well, those babies, they had 2 babies, 1 and 4 years old. Now, these 2 were murdered, but the 2 children were left unharmed. And so you've got a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old probably, climbing all over their mommy and daddy. It's awful. But the police were called for a welfare check after Spencer didn't show up for work. Initial responders left after no answer. Another friend later reported hearing the children crying. So after the police left, some of their friends and coworkers came back to the house. Like they weren't taking no for an answer. They were going to find out what was wrong. And they could hear the children in the house crying. It makes me wonder why the police didn't hear the children crying, but I'm not going to be critical of it. I just thought that even the 911 dispatcher was pretty dismissive of the family and coworkers' fears and concerns. But that's just my own personal take on it. Initial responders left after no answer, and another friend later reported hearing the children crying and seeing a body inside through the window. Why didn't the cops see that? If the friends were able to see that through a window, why didn't the cops look? It just bothers me.
Well, the only thing I can say is that they probably get a lot of calls to go do those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't dismiss the fact that they missed it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I hear you.
They probably go a lot of times and nothing comes of it. But they should take each call as if it were, true and real.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a real bad problem with incompetence. I feel like I see it everywhere, and I see it at staggering levels, and it's everywhere.
Places where it really makes a difference, because if the friends hadn't gone over there, those children would not have been found.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Officers and usually when the friends and the family have to take those extra measures to find out, that the police won't take, they usually get yelled at.
Yes, they do.
The cops don't like it when they do it, but yet, like you said, if somebody hadn't have done it, those babies wouldn't have been found. And we know how fast a baby can die from dehydration and stuff. We watched one not long ago this past year. Well, it happens every day. I'm just pointing one out. A mommy left her baby in the crib or the pack and play and decided she was going to go off to Cuba for a few days and left the baby home alone. And when they came back, the baby was dead, of course.
Well,
She'd
how
been
would you think that a baby would eat?
it just breaks my heart how many little children are left treated that like people that stick these babies in closets and leave them there to starve and die. What is wrong with people? My brain cannot comprehend it. um I've been hearing whispers like with this case of domestic violence. I'm not sure, we don't know anything yet, but I've been seeing whispers about it since this guy has been arrested in this case. So I'll be I'm looking to see if he's got a history of domestic violence, in his past.
You mean the one that pew-pewed the gal?
Yeah, her ex-husband is who has done this.
Mhm.
Officers found both adults dead on the second floor from apparent gunshot wounds. Their two young children, ages 1 and 4, were in the house but unharmed. Um, Investigators believe the murders occurred between 2 and 5 a.m. There was no forced entry. The let's see, there was no weapon had been discovered, so there was no weapon left at the scene. He took it with him. The early investigation, the person of interest, and the surveillance, we saw the video. Let me pull it up. We saw the video that showed him walking. Let me see. I can find it real quick. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know what I did with it. I thought it was right here, but most of us have seen it. It was just a little black and white short video that showed the back alley behind their house, and it just showed a man walking up that back alley, and he has on a hoodie, and he's got it kind of pulled down over his head, and he's got his head down, so you can't see who he is. You cannot identify him at all. They said that when they put it out, they had not had anybody come forward and say, "Hey, that's me. I was out there changing my tire that night, but I didn't murder nobody. But that's me in the video." Nobody's come forward and said it. So that might end up being him. I don't know. The surveillance footage showed the hooded person of interest walking near the Tepe home around the time of the murders. The clip was shared with the public in hopes of leads, but no names were released at the time. Now comes the break in the case and the arrest. The suspect was identified. Investigators traced a vehicle seen on surveillance video. Now, this is what I've been saying for a long time. People were asking me if I was afraid and if I was scared and this and that. And I said, well, if somebody does come to try and hurt me at my house, they're going to come past 50 video cameras. 50 different houses are going to catch them on video, so they're going to go to prison if they do anything. And I think that that's where we are for just about any crime today. If you've got an investigator worth their salt, all they got to do is go out and start pounding on doors, asking for the video, and they're gonna they're gonna start solving a lot more crimes. And when the rest of the country is doing that, kind of hard to justify why you're not. You know what I mean? Anyway. So let's see. Michael David McKee, 39. Let me pull up his picture. What the heck? All right. He's a surgeon. Holy cow. Let's see. Where are you guys at? What are you all saying over here? Did y'all know he was a surgeon?
The guy that was killed?
No, the guy that killed him. It says he's a surgeon. Here, let's pull this up and we'll read it.
Well, daggone.
There's a body. Okay, well, we already know that. The ex-husband of a slain Ohio dentist's wife was arrested for allegedly gunning down the couple inside their home and leaving them for dead as their two young children cried. Court records show. Look how scary this guy looks. He looks like a serial killer. Michael David McKee, 39, was arrested Saturday. Let's make sure y'all can see it. Okay. Oh, let me. No. Okay. He was arrested Saturday by the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office in Illinois shortly before noon and slapped with 2 counts of murder for fatally shooting Spencer and Monique Tepe inside their 4-bedroom Columbus home on December 30th, according to court records. McKee married Monique in 2015. That was 10 years ago, or 11. She then filed for divorce in May of 2017, so they were only married for 2 years and they didn't have any kids together, I heard. According to Franklin County domestic court filings, the Columbus Dispatch. Look how scary he looks, man. Wow. All right. Records indicate the divorce was amicable, with the exes living in Virginia at the time. Spencer, 37, and Monique, 39, were reportedly killed 1 month shy of their 5-year wedding anniversary. Why? What do you guys think? Why 5 years later after the divorce? You think it could be something to do with property, some kind of property that they didn't want to give up or something? People are like that, you know. They do not want to split assets at all. And they don't have anything, they don't have any kids together. Spencer, 37, and Monique, 39. Oh, I already read that. Stay up
They
to
didn't
date.
even live in the same state.
No, nothing can undo the devastating loss of 2 lives taken for too soon, the Tepe family said in a statement after he was arrested. We thank the community for the continued support, prayers, and compassion shown throughout this tragedy. As the case proceeds, we trust the justice system to hold the person responsible accountable. Monique and Spencer remain at the center of our hearts, and we carry forward their love as we surround and protect the 2 children that they leave behind. We will continue to honor their lives and the light that they brought into this world. The couple's lifeless bodies were found after their frantic friends showed up at their home around 9 a.m. and made repeated 911 calls when Spencer failed to show up for work. Spencer was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds following the welfare check. His wife suffered at least 1 shot to the chest. See, and they changed that now. They've said at least 1 shot. So she may have been shot more than once. I know that they were kind of making a big deal out of she was shot once, but he was shot several times. Well, maybe she was shot more than once. The couple's 4-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son, who were also found crying inside, were both unharmed in the heinous slaying. The violent attack happened between 2 and 5 a.m. In the upstairs. No gun was discovered. Eerie surveillance footage released by authorities showed a person of interest walking down an alley near the couple's home in the early hours on the day of the deadly shooting. And here's the video. We'll watch it again too real fast.
Hush. Hush.
I don't know if can y'all still see it? Sometimes it blacks out. Up. Well. Okay. Well, that went on to the next video anyway, so let me
Hush.
pull our article back up. All right, so Columbus investigators said that they tracked a vehicle that arrived in the Wineland Park neighborhood where the couple lived before the double killing, and later left for Rockford, Illinois, and identified that McKee owned the car, the local outlet reported. So as soon as they found out that that car belonged to her ex-husband, I am sure they were putting the dots together, connecting the dots, honey. Police have yet to identify a potential motive behind the fatal shooting. Public records show that McKee attended medical school at Ohio State University, holding medical licenses in both Illinois and California. Let me read that again. Public records show McKee attended medical school. So this is the ex-husband. See, I told you. I thought it said he was a surgeon. Public records show McKee attended medical school at Ohio State University, holding medical licenses in both Illinois and California, and living in various states since 2020, including Virginia, Nevada, and Illinois. Why are you moving around like that? For a job, maybe? I'd say to work in hospitals or whatever, you probably move around quite a bit. I don't know. But that's a lot of moving around. He worked as a vascular surgeon in a practice in the Rockford area where his vehicle was found, according to the outlet. McKee will remain behind bars in Illinois until he is extradited back to Ohio. He is scheduled to appear in court on Monday for a hearing. Holy cow. Look at that guy, Mom.
Well, he just looks like that's just the way his face is. They've got it all blowed up.
Well, I think he looks like a serial killer.
Well, we just don't know anything about this case. There's going to be more to come out. I don't think he got up one day and said, I'm going to go down there and kill them people.
Man, I have absolutely no idea. Let's see. Oh, they're saying, I saw several of you guys say they went to the wrong house. You're saying the cops went to the wrong house. Oh my gosh. Well, whenever they were doing a report on it the other night, they were talking about how they lived in duplexes, that all of those houses there on that street seemed to be a line of duplexes. And when I was looking at it, I thought, well, where's the other side of where's the other side where the other person lives? and I never could see it. It still looks like a house to me. I can't see the where it splits into two houses. So I guess maybe it's really easy to get the addresses mixed up there. It might be upstairs, downstairs type thing. Yes. Maria, what did you say about his current wife? His current wife is arrested with him. They are both arrested for this murder. I don't know. It didn't necessarily say she was charged with the same charges as him, but it just said that they were both arrested. Anita, I guessed who it was before it came out because they had said something about an ex-husband when it first happened. I thought the same thing. Well, it's usually the person closest to you. It usually is the spouse. It usually is the boyfriend. I saw somewhere too where it was in the comments section. It wasn't any kind of report. It was just in the comments. But they were asking if they still had any kind of relationship. Was him and her having any kind of relationship behind each other's spouses' backs? Could they have been talking on the phone together? I think alcohol is a big factor in just about everybody's life that tends to. That big 911 call that they found that happened like back in October, the very first one that they found, that they said that she had called. She sounds like she'd been drinking to me. She sounded drunk. She didn't sound like she had just been drinking. She sounded drunk. She sounded plastered to me.
What was that? Was it a 911? Who made the 911 call?
She did. Let's see if I can pull it up.
The lady that was pew-pewed?
Yep.
And who'd she make the 911 call on?
Well, it didn't really ever say, other than her and her man. She called him her man. Were fighting, and the way that she talked, I was not expecting it.
Well,
her man was fighting. Let's pull it up, and y'all. Let's see. It might. The woman found slain did not make a tearful 911 call months earlier. Police believe Spencer and Monique Tepe, from someone who sounded like they were crying in the area of Spencer and Tepe's home, Spencer and Monique's home. News of the call spread this week, leading to speculation of the caller's identity. We can officially say that was not Monique Tepe that made that call. That was not her. Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant told members of the media on January 8th. Assistant Chief Greg Bodker added that officials don't believe any calls were previously made from the Tepe's home asking for police assistance. Well, that's strange. Let's see if this is a video of it. Let me pull that one down. I think this is it. Yeah.
The victims, but we feel that is this. We take all of our homicides seriously. I know that this homicide, these two homicides have gotten a lot of national attention, And we're very concerned as well. We want to make sure that we bring justice to this family, justice to the victims, but we feel that way about all of our homicides. And while this is national news, that's why it's important when we talk about our closure rate. Closing 100 cases last year, you can see the detectives are dedicated and committed to making sure that they address every single homicide as if it were their own family, as if it was their own loved one. That's important that we pour into making sure our resources are there, making sure we follow every lead. In this case in particular, because it is national news, we know that there's a lot of questions, a lot of people that want to know things. We want to be as transparent as possible. We want to share as much information as we can, but we have to do that with making sure that we don't compromise the integrity of this investigation. We're asking for patience. We're asking for people to understand that when we can share more information, we will share more information. We want to make sure that when we identify our suspect, when we make an arrest, that it leads to a conviction and that there's no compromise or nothing that would bring that integrity and make that case be unprosecutable. And so that's why it's important that we follow and make sure that we're not compromising it. What we can share with you, we will.
All right. Oh, that's just an ad.
We know that this incident happened, and we know that there was a call for a well-being check around 9:03 a.m. that day. We did have an officer respond to that check. Unfortunately, he went to the wrong address and he went to a different house. He did all of the things that he should have done, but he was not at the right location. He knocked on the doors. He went in the backyard. He tried to make an attempt to initiate contact in that home. That did not happen because it was the wrong address. And so later, like maybe about 40 minutes later, there was another call that I think their coworkers came down and the bodies were discovered in the home. And so we responded, and that's how we discovered that this homicide did actually occur sometime hours prior to the well-being check.
We talked about the social media attention that this case is getting. We've seen several YouTubers, true crime people out there saying, I'm doing more than police. You talk about the integrity of this investigation. So what can you say to those people?
I'll say we're confident in our investigative skills. So I can just point to our solve rate. I am confident our detectives will solve this case. And I can add, Bethany talked about a lot of Wyland Park residents have reached out. We've spoken to a lot of Wyland Park residents. If you've been in the neighborhood, you've seen that our homicide teams are canvassing every single day. And while we don't welcome a tragedy like this in Columbus, we're not an agency that has not seen. We've seen tragedy like this before. We've seen high-profile cases. We have professional homicide detectives that are intent on solving this crime, and they will solve this crime. And so they've been in the neighborhood. The neighborhood has responded with a lot of tips, a lot of video. But I also want to remind people that every single minute, every second of the videos that have been shared, we have to watch every single minute, every single second. And so, yes, there are social media detectives that are trying to get clicks and views. And oftentimes the information they're putting out is salacious. It's intent on getting a click or a view. And that's their role. That is not our role. A homicide investigation is a delicate balance between community safety and investigative integrity. And when we have anything that might be in the realm of community safety, we share that because we care for our community.
And I'll just say that it's really important for the community to understand that we're going to be transparent, but we also have to make sure that we preserve the integrity of this investigation. We follow every lead, every tip. They're working around the clock to do that. If there is a lead or something that we've exhausted and we know that it's no longer relevant, we move on and focus our resources onto the next lead. And so we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to leave no stone unturned until we're able to bring some justice to this family and to those victims.
There's also been a lot of misinformation that has been put out there. You mentioned salaciousness, the 911 call from several months prior. The family has said that's not her. I mean, is that something you guys can officially say that it was not Monique that made
Yes.
that call?
We can officially say that it was not her that made that call. That was not her.
Have there ever been problems at that residence that you guys are aware of?
There are no calls for service there that I'm aware of, other than what has already been reported.
I think that's it.
So what I can tell you is that
So, what do you guys think? Somebody said Ohio's got the death penalty, and this was definitely premeditated. Kate says, roid rage. Somebody said he looked scary and looks like he's on steroids. Pull your camera down there, Mommy. I don't know why it always goes up.
Well, I moved locations.
Oh. So what do you think?
I don't know. I'm just really puzzled.
Marnie said allegedly per friends he was abusive and not a nice man. Kentucky Annie said, yes, he's very creepy. Yes, it said that McKee is currently married. She was married, you know, her and her husband have been, they were getting ready to have their 5-year wedding anniversary. And they had 2 children.
One
One,
was only 1 year old.
well, and the other one was 4.
Mhm.
Think about that age. Think of the age. Could there be any kind of paternity questions if their oldest child is 4? I mean, we're just theories, you know, we don't know. We have no idea. I'm just saying. The oldest child is 4. They're getting ready to have their 5-year wedding anniversary. You don't know when they got married. You don't know when they got divorced. So there's lots of questions. I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. Smicky says, let me tell you, I've worked with a lot of surgeons, and in my younger days, I dated them. Who, Smick? There are some weirdos out there. Tell me about it. There was an old weirdo in Harlan. Any of you all out there from Harlan County, it lived in Harlan. There was a foreign doctor. He was a foreign guy. I don't know where from, but he wasn't from here. And he used to pay people. He would pay girls to pee on a rug. He had an old nasty rug. And I can't tell you how many girls I knew would go pee on that rug. Now, I never did it. I didn't know him. But would pay him to pee on a rug, and then he wanted them to use the bathroom. It's so disgusting. Why do people do stuff like that,
I
man?
don't know what he would want with their urine.
Well, he had them pee on the rug, and then he had them do the other, like in his bathtub or something. I don't know. I don't remember, but he had them do it somewhere. It's disgusting. Neither child belonged to McKee. Okay.
I didn't think so either. I think her and her husband, you know, had those 2, her and her current husband had those 2 kids.
Well, I mean, I was just asking.
Well, it's a good question.
I was just trying to do the math, you know. You never know.
No, it's a good guess. I would be, if I was a policeman, that's one of the things I would check.
I mean, what's the obsession 5 years later? You know, the only thing that, in my mind, the only thing that would keep someone would be a child or property, assets, possessions, some kind of possessions.
I don't know. It's really strange.
Smick, EJ, you all have an GYN doctor up there in Hazard at the hospital now that people need to avoid. Thank you for reminding me, Smick. Let me see if I can pull up this. I remember somebody sent me an email not long ago. And I actually have had several emails from people. But somebody had sent me an email telling me about this doctor in Hazard who was brought up on charges. There were some charges. I'm going to have to go in and dig it out. People send me this stuff and then I forget about it, y'all. I get a ton of it, a ton of really great cases, but it's hard where I'm so unorganized. So if you have sent me something, if you're listening and you've sent me a case or you've sent me something and I've not done anything with it, please forgive me and send me an email and remind me, trigger my memory, because I'm telling you, it's awful. This medicine I've been on for so long has really bothered my memory. Charlie, EJ made me laugh and almost choked on my cereal. Hey, and listen, we got a lot of doctors around here, so I've been hearing that have a lot of that freakazoid behavior and desires.
Ah.
It's not. Old DD is not the only freak nasty we got running around Whitesburg. Birds of a feather, they flock together. Susan says I live 45 minutes from where the dentist and his wife was killed, and it's so sad. They divorced in 2017. Spencer and Monique were married in 2020. Oh, yeah. That's 3 years. You're right. Good. McKee was just a controlling, obsessive man, in my opinion. And what kind of man would leave two infants? Well, I mean, one's an infant and one's a toddler. Who could leave two children? Like, he had to look at them after he shot their mom and dad. After he murdered their parents, he still had to look at them, How could you not care? He was a control freak. It happens. Yes, Carrie Hall is out of prison. Y'all want to talk about it? I have it ready to rock and roll. I didn't really know what you guys wanted to talk about tonight. And since that was breaking news, I figured we might want to talk about that. And since we've probably got a lot of people on here tonight that have absolutely no idea what we are or who we are talking about with Carrie Hall, she was a nurse. Was she a nurse practitioner? Do y'all know? All right. So several years ago, the 2020 investigation and indictment. So she was indicted. The Kentucky State Police said that Carrie R. Hall, listed at 41 at the time, so she was 41 years old at the time, of Whitesburg, was arrested on an indictment warrant after an investigation involving sexual conduct with an underage male, and listed multiple charges in the announcement. WYMT reported that a Letcher County grand jury had indicted her in a big sexual abuse case involving an underage boy. Oh, gosh. Hang on. Man, Sorry. I'm on the show. All right. Sorry, y'all. I had that open. And it just goes crazy. All right. So the guilty plea was in 2023. So that went on for 3 years. The charges were the investigation was in 2020. She didn't take her plea until 2023. 3 years. They reported that Carrie Hall, 44, then of Whitesburg, pled guilty on more than 20 charges and listed the counts: tampering with a witness, tampering with physical evidence, unlawful use of an electronic device to induce a minor, sexual abuse, R word in the 3rd degree, viewing and possession of matter portraying a minor in a sexual performance. These are a lot of charges for a very, very connected and protected woman in this area. Like this with Dr. Van Breeding and all of them at MCHC. She was from what I've been told, allegedly. They were all very, very, very close. That will probably come into play when we start digging through this case too. We'll see that she may have gotten this plea because of who she was and the connections that she had. But I think also her being a woman, I think that had a lot to do with how this case was prosecuted and stuff too. The boy, I think, was 16 years old at the time, if I remember correctly, which there ain't no excuses, okay? But use of a minor in a sexual performance, sodomy, 3rd degree, etc. The indictments tied the acts to September 2020 and that she remained in jail pending sentencing at that time. Her sentence and post-conviction challenge in 2024. I remember reading that. I think we did a show on that. Mountaintop Media reported that she pled guilty in April and was sentenced in June. They reported 6 years and later sought relief in a federal court. They also reported a magistrate judge recommended dismissal because she had not exhausted state options. I remember that one. Kentucky DOC offender record details. I guess that would be her mug shot and stuff. Buddy, I'm on my show. I cannot answer right this minute. And this here is just the Kentucky State Police. She was released, is why we're talking about it. She was released the other night.
Yes. Yes, I was curious about that case. I remember when it was taking place earlier on, and I mean, that boy was 16, so he probably was having the thrill of his life.
Well, there was a video, so they recorded themselves, I guess, like when she was doing the BJ for him, I guess, or something like that, allegedly. They had recorded themselves. And that video, he was at school showing all of his friends, from what I've been told. and I think he played ball or something, but he had a group of friends. And the reason why I think he played ball was because it was just a few nights ago. I was talking to a ball mom, and she said that the rumors started about Carrie Hall back then. And she said, I knew Carrie. She said, Carrie was my friend. She said, never, ever, ever in a million years would I have thought that this was true. She said, when I heard the rumors start, she said, no way. No way. She said, I would have bet everything. She said, I would have bet my life that it was not true. She said, and one day something brought it up, and she said, I was standing there saying, no, it's not true. She said, and my son was in there and heard the conversation. And she said, my son looked at me and said, Mom, it's true. I've seen it. Her son played ball with this kid. And she said, I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, you've seen it? You've seen it. And he was like, yeah. He said, I've seen it. And the thing is, they had seen it for a long time. I dropped my lid. They had been like, everybody knew about it. Like all these friends and stuff, they had been knowing about it. And I wonder how it got turned into the police. I wonder who was the one that actually turned it into the police.
I'd say that the school did. Because, they'd be, if they found out about it, they'd be obligated to do that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They'd be a mandated reporter. Mm-hmm. And we're finding out, though, we're finding out that the schools, they have a lot of autonomy. They have a lot of discretion. Schools have a lot of privacy, because of the children that are going there. But there's also, and I don't think that relationships with coaches and teachers and stuff is happening at a higher rate or anything than what it used to. I think that we're just seeing a bigger push on social media. More people are coming forward. I think more people are starting to tell. People are starting to not be so afraid. And like I said, social media has changed so much in the last 5 years. Just in the last 5 years, it has just skyrocketed in the ways that people are sharing information. I also noticed something whenever we were listening to those police officers there from Columbus, Ohio. Man, they sure don't like true crime shows, and they sure don't like social media investigators. They always seem to have something to say negative, even though, like, the Hatfields and the McCoys, they found Joseph Couch's body. Like, there are so many times that citizens have helped investigations. I mean, I'm sure that not all of them are, not all of them are the best, but.
Oh, well, you can understand people out here, running their mouth and checking stuff out and everything. And they just think that people like me and you don't know very much. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, we don't.
And that's right. And we don't. All we're going on is what we read in the news. So
we just,
they think that we should quit being them Sunday quarterbacks or whatever they're called, the ones
Sunday morning quarterback.
Yeah, that's what we are.
That's right. Well, we like to talk about this stuff. We give theories, we throw out theories, we speculate, we just talk about what's going out, what's all in the conversation, what the conversation in the community is, what people are saying. People bring us anonymous stories, they bring us their own stories.
That's
Um,
exactly right.
it's no different than the speak your piece column or section
Absolutely.
of the newspaper.
That's what it was back in its day when
hmm
it first started.
And the reporters can go talk to people and put out these big stories, write these big stories, but you're still only going on what somebody's telling you unless you have documents or some kind of proof or documentation. But still, whenever you go talk to somebody and you interview them, you don't, I don't know, every interview that you do you go and fact check everything that they say and just, make sure that I don't think that you can do that. I'm not a reporter. That's not my job. My job is not to go fact check everything somebody tells me.
Well, social media doing what you're doing is a new thing today. I mean, it's in its infancy.
It is. We wanted to be a trailblazer.
Yeah.
I saw people on there doing their own true crime shows, and I thought, I kept seeing different ones, and I kept watching and watching. And I was like, man, I can do that. I can do what they're doing. So I started planning it. And here we are. And the best piece of advice that I ever got or that I ever took was your first 50 videos are going to suck. It's okay. You still got to get them up, and you got to do them, and you got to get them up. And you learn as you go. And that's so true. I think that anybody who is 35 years old or older has enough experience in something that you could do a show. You could do your own little social media thing on it. You could have your own YouTube channel. You could do your own TikTok. Every single one of us has enough experience or expertise in something, whether it's matching your socks in the morning, I don't know, but something, if you think about it. And I think this is the way that a lot of people are going to end up making their income. It's how I make mine. And I passed over an $80,000 a year job to do this.
That may not have been too smart.
Well, the potential to make more than that is with this. But
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do. But you have to work at it. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you don't do it, it ain't never going to work.
You have to have, it's all right to get out there and try to do things.
I am investing in myself. I've put, 25,000 in my mouth.
Well, we don't need to know your money.
Well, listen, implants are expensive. Anybody that tells you they got dental implants, don't let them tell you they didn't pay nothing for them. There ain't no insurance that covers it. So you're going to be saving your money and paying cash.
Well, it also is damn painful.
I saved my money, and I saved my money, and I saved my money for a down payment on a house. And instead of using it for my house, I put it, because I knew I had to have these choppers to be able to be successful with this. I sure don't regret it at all. Not at all. All right. Let's see. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18. Jesus explains greatness. This is my favorite Bible. I love this Bible. It helps me understand it and explain everything a little bit better. All right. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them. And he said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, this means converted means born again. Okay. So, except you be born again and become as little children. A child is totally dependent on its parents. And believers must be as dependent on Christ as little children are on their parents. You shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Failure of total dependence on Christ and the cross will put one into unbelief and thereby a lost condition. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, excuse you.
No, sorry.
The same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Direct opposite of the standard of this world, right? It's the direct opposite. Whosoever shall humble himself as these little children, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Now, this doesn't refer to weak Christians, as some believe, but rather to those who trust Christ and the cross completely. And Jesus was using a lot of symbolism there in that teaching. So, woe unto the world because of offenses against true believers. For it must needs, woe unto the world because of offenses. For it must needs be that offenses come. So offenses have to come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. All who touch true believers touch Christ. Wherefore, if your hand or your foot offends you, cut them off and cast them from you. Symbolism, you know. It is better for you to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. So while not offending true believers will not save one, offending them will definitely bring about the most serious degree of punishment in eternity. And if your eye offends you, pluck it out and cast it from you. It is better for you to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire. Christ continues with the symbolism in that teaching. Take heed that you despise not one of these little children. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. So take heed that you despise not one of these little ones. That's one who trusts in Christ and the cross. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Every true believer is assigned an angel who reports to the Heavenly Father any and all pertaining to that believer. For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. Salvation was paid for at great price. Therefore, all who accept that salvation become the property of God the Father. How do you think if a man has 100 sheep and one of them be gone astray, does he not leave the 99 and go after and go into the mountains and seeks that which is gone astray? So he leaves the 99 and he goes and finds that one that's wandered off. And if so, be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoices more over that sheep than of the 99 which went astray. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that even one of these little ones should perish. Moreover, if your brother shall trespass against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he shall hear you, you have gained your brother. But if he will not hear you, then take with you 1 or 2 more, and in that mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto you as a heathen man and a publican. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
Loosed.
Loose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Jesus, Lord, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. I love you, Jesus. I pray that you forgive me for my sins, Lord. I mess up and I do things and I think things and my brain don't work together right sometimes. You know, I have got a vision in my mind. I've got a dream that I've been working towards for so many years. But God, you're the one that told me. You told me when I was a little old girl that something was going to happen when I was 50. And I'm 49. So I know this year is going to be a very, very big year. I have held on to that promise all my life. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I already know the ending. I already know. Your word tells us that you already won. You already won. You already paid the price. You already fought the battle. You already won. And so I have no fear. I have no fear of anybody but you, Lord. I pray for the lost tonight. for those that don't know you. I pray for those who think they know you. I pray that you just touch all of our hearts. And that goes for me too, Lord. That goes for me too. Whatever's in my heart, Lord, that's not of you, I pray that you remove it. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. What the devil means for evil, I pray, Lord, that you will turn it around for the good of those who love you and who are called according to your purpose. I pray for your will. I pray your will be done. Whatever that looks like, however that looks.
That will be
I love you, Jesus. I thank you, Lord. Many of our hillbillies have been really suffering tragic losses. Some of them have lost their mommies recently. Some of them have lost their pets recently. There's a lot of people that are struggling with loss right now, Lord. And so I just pray that you'll touch their hearts. I pray that you'll touch their minds, touch their spirits, give them peace, calm their spirits tonight, Lord. Help them to rest. Help them to get a good night's sleep. Help us all to receive your blessings. Help us to receive your favor. Help us to receive your chastisement. Because I know that you fuss at me all the time. You whoop me all the time. And I'm grateful for that. I'm very thankful for the Holy Spirit in my life. I love you, Jesus. I pray that you'll go with us tonight and bring us back tomorrow safely at the appointed time. And until we meet again, we give you all praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Okay. So, anyway. Carrie Hall is out of prison. She's probably got some probation.
Apparently
Yeah, that Vine offender thing sends out a text message letting everybody know that she's been released. And so I don't know any details of it other than she's out of prison.
I read about it and I made some comment on something somebody posted. People jumped all over me. I said, yeah, it was on social media, on Facebook. I said, well, she'd served her sentence. I didn't know the story, and I still don't know the story. I know her and that boy did, things that she shouldn't have been doing with him because she was a teacher, wasn't she? Or was she a nurse or a nurse practitioner?
She was. So, like when social services suspect that a child has been sexually abused, they take that child to her. And she was the one who would interview them and examine the child to see if it had been sexually abused.
Oh, well.
So, her being in that role and being 10 years older, more than 10 years older than that boy is what sunk her. It was her position of authority and trust.
Yeah. People are really upset. But I mean, lots of times men do things to 16-year-old girls and nothing's ever done to them. You know what I'm saying? They just get a slap on the wrist.
Well, she got in some trouble. There was, she had a co-defendant. I forget the guy's name. What was that guy's name, y'all? The one that was arrested for messing with the kid. So the kid and his mom, they told the kid to break his phone. So that way, whenever they got caught, if I remember this correctly, they told him to break his phone so that way they wouldn't have the evidence of their relationship. And they ended up charging him with tampering with physical evidence. And that guy got charged with tampering with witness.
Well, who was he?
What was that?
How did
Lenny
he,
Bates.
how did he play into the situation?
Lenny Bates. Well, let me pull it up and see if I can pull the article up. He was a co-defendant, and he ended up taking a plea bargain,
Uh-huh.
and he testified against
Against her.
her. Yep. Let's see. Alan. Sheesh.
I loved it. I thought it was a great laugh.
Well, he is there, Lenny Bates.
Oh my God.
All right. So it says nurse practitioner. This was back when it happened. Carrie R. Hall, 41, was arrested Friday morning along with Linville Lenny Bates, 46, of Thornton, who was indicted on charges. Let me pull this picture up and I'll show you what Miss Carrie Hall. This was her arrest thing. Okay.
A new controller, not VC.
I lost my.
Because I
Oh,
control
there it
stuff.
is. Okay.
Of course, you're gonna need a new controller. Like, you
Alan
need a VC.
who was indicted on charges of complicity with Hall to bribe or intimidate a witness, tampering with a witness, and tamper with physical evidence. In addition to the same complicity charges with which Bates was charged, Hall is charged with multiple counts of first-degree sexual abuse, third-degree R-word, use of an electronic device to induce a minor to engage in sexual or prohibited activities, viewing and possession of matter portraying a minor in a sexual performance, use of a minor under 18 years old in a sexual performance, and tampering with witness. She is also charged with one count of the S word. Hall was placed in the Letcher County Jail in lieu of a $250,000 cash bond. If she were to post that bond, she would be required to have an electronic monitoring bracelet, which she did. She was also put on house arrest, and she was out there on house arrest right at the same time that Ben Fields had his bend bands. So I guess he stuck him a big bend band on her ankle while she was waiting to go to prison. I heard that she had some really, really big connections with fan breeding and all them. I heard that allegedly he was the one who helped her get what she got. But, I don't think she got anything special. I don't think her sentence was like suspicious. I don't think it was favoritism in any way. Do you?
I don't. I think that,
She got more time than these men get.
well, I thought she did too.
All these men that are their buddies get off with nothing.
I think because she was a woman, we're harder on her as a public.
What
And I
do you
don't know
think?
who that was that you was reading about there.
Oh, Lenny Bates. Well, that was her friend.
Yeah.
He was friends with her.
Well, he sounded pretty disgusting.
He lives around here. Nobody cared. Like, these men, what Lenny did was nothing compared to what the rest of these men do around here. And it ain't just Judge Mullins. It ain't just Ben Fields. They're the two that have kind of become the face, and old DD. They're the ones that have kind of become the face, you know. But there's so many others. There's so many others. It's just unbelievable to me.
Well, I'm glad I never did have to work around that kind of an environment.
Well, here's some comments, just a few. We won't go into it because we've been on here an hour and a half tonight. I hate that she's ruined herself and her children and husband, and definitely ruined a 16-year-old life. She deserves to be locked up for many years in the meantime. Hope she realizes that she needs to be close to God for the remainder of her days. If
Did she have children?
I guess, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, she had kids. From what, if I remember it correctly, she, unless I've got this mixed up with another case, but I don't think that I do. Sorry, I had to fuss at my kid, and I don't remember what I was saying. Sorry.
Does she have a husband and kids?
Oh, so unless I've mixed this up with another case, the best of my recollection was that she allegedly was like friends with the parents somehow, and she approached, or like she would let the kid come and stay at her house, or she went over there to their house and stayed till like she bought I don't remember what it was. She bought a cruise, or she bought a hotel room, or she did something and went to the parents and was like, here, y'all can go away and take these concert tickets that I just happen to have here. If you want. You know, she's like, oh, and by the way, you know, don't worry about your kid. You know, I'll come babysit, or he can come stay at my house. So I think that it was one of those type things.
Then you're a good boy too.
Thank you, Angel. Look, Angie. My rings. I love
Yes, I'm gonna pierce my ears and wear me some big dangly earrings.
I love earrings. They're my
I'll
favorite.
pierce my nose.
You better not. Somebody might grab it and try to pull you around by it.
Just like they did those bulls. You remember when they did that? They'd put those rings in those bulls' nose.
I wouldn't want to be pulled around by my nose. That hurt.
No, I'm not going to get no hole put in my nose. But I think that's all right for other people to do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we better go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will see you tomorrow. She was tutoring those boys after school at her house. I gotcha.
Yeah, I bet she was tutoring them. She was showing them all kinds of stuff, wasn't she? And they were eager to learn, in my opinion.
Good.
They said, well, yeah, we want to learn it all. I'm being foolish.
That's all right. That is all right. Listen, guys, I've got a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a big case where my lawsuit has dropped a few days ago, and it kind of got a lot of attention. We had someone that reached out who has their own situation going on, very, very similar, only, of course, different circumstances in a different county. And so we've been working on trying to tell the story of, schools are mandated reporters. And we are seeing a rise, I think, just in the news and in social media. I don't think that the numbers, of the cases, the criminal behavior is getting any higher. I think we're just seeing it more. But we are going to look at how,
Well, they're in new territory. You know what I'm saying? With social media and all that. So schools are trying to get themselves settled into how they should approach these things. Bless
Well,
their hearts.
and now I've said this before we even filed our lawsuit. You watch. This suit that we just filed will end up being one of the biggest civil lawsuits on free speech in modern history. You watch. I've known it. I felt it. I know it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I do know that there are a whole lot of people, just people, that think that we know a lot of stuff, and usually we don't know squat. Usually we don't know squat.
Well, all right. I got to go to bed.
All right. Well, where we have gotten the last 5 years, social media has changed a lot, and it has given us a whole new era of free speech. We're walking into a whole new era of free speech. And so this is where we're going to start seeing what the courts say about it. You watch and see. All right, guys. Peace out, Girl Scout. Y'all sleep tight and don't let them bed bugs bite.
Can't hide from hillbilly crime. You can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair. Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound. Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines. Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't match the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the